Only 1 month into 2024, and China has been rocked by several shocking disasters, including major fires and landslides, leaving people to wonder, what's wrong with China? Look at this message from a schoolboy to his mother. "There's a fire, I can't get out." The last word he sent was "Mom," and he hasn't been heard from since. The fire broke out at 1524 on January 24th of this year in a city in Jiangxi province at the basement floor of a building. This was the scene of the fire, with smoke billowing as seen from the side of the road. As of the evening of January 24th, the fire had resulted in 39 deaths and 9 injuries, one of which was in critical condition. The mother of that boy said that there were more than 40 students inside the tutorial classroom in the building involved, which means that most of the students didn't survive the fire. Why was the accident so tragic? The fire burned for more than 5 hours, and the only escape route was blocked by smoke. Students were trapped in the complicated terrain. Some escaped by jumping out of street windows or climbing down ladders. Later, Chinese media reported that a cold storage facility was being constructed in the basement. A fire broke out and spread to the upper floors. On the second floor was a training institution that specializes in upgrading students from college to university. Most trapped victims were students. In addition, there were 2 internet cafes in the building. People who managed to escape were covered in black soot, and many were sent to hospital due to excessive smoke inhalation. A citizen who has been to this training institution revealed that it was a shabby place with a narrow staircase leading to it. Rooms are crowded with tables and chairs. A 30 square meter room seats about 50 to 60 people. The official report stated that the building was a 6-story commercial and residential brick concrete structure. The fire started in the basement and quickly spread to commercial shops on the 1st and 2nd floors. A cold storage was being constructed in the basement. The fire broke out due to a illegal operation by the workers. It became too big to put out, and thick smoke poured into the 2nd floor through the hallway. There was a training institution and a hotel on the 2nd floor. The stranded people were mainly students and tourists. Many of the students were from out of town. After the accident, 12 relevant personnel were detained. On January 25th, this city's Education Bureau conducted a citywide fire inspection of all educational institutions and asked all off-campus training institutions to suspend their activities and carry out in-depth fire inspection and rectification. As is often the case with the Chinese government system, it always performs some kind of cosmetic work after a major incident has occurred. It won't be long before the same thing happens again. The fire in Jiangxi province, which took the lives of so many young students, should have been prevented by China's education system long ago. This is because 5 days ago, in a city in the central Chinese province of Henan, a large-scale fire broke out in the dormitory of an elementary school. At 2300 on January 19th, a fire broke out in a dormitory at an elementary school in Henan province. The local fire and rescue brigade arrived at the scene. The fire was put out at 2338, but it killed 13 people and injured 1. The person responsible for the school was brought under control. According to a person who graduated from the school, the dormitory was locked at night when students were sleeping. This could be one of the reasons why the casualties were so high. At the time, the Chinese media raised 5 questions about the fire accident. With 15 students in one dormitory, is there a problem with the lack of safety exits? Were any emergency measures taken in time at the beginning of the fire? Did the school have enough firefighting equipment and take effective emergency measures in the early stages of the fire? What is the status of the school's fire drills? Do fire drills happen on a regular basis, and are teachers and students familiar with the response procedures? Did the school have a safety patrol system for fires that occurred that night? But soon, virtually all of China's media became silent because the local government quickly went into stabilization mode. Netizens filmed the road to the elementary school in question being blocked off. The response adopted by a school after the fire in the elementary dorm was full of Chinese characteristics. On a weekend, a school message was sent out and demanded all staff stop resting, go on duty immediately, and arrive at school on time before 8 o'clock. No one is allowed to take leave for any reason. All teaching staff of the kindergarten and Muslim primary school are to do their respective duties as required by their superiors, or else they will be held responsible in strict accordance with the law. The school was filled with an air of martial law. On January 21st, the chief of the local police station visited the home of the family of the victimized child. This is the head of the police station of our government. We came to the family to check on them. We hope that all major online bloggers take note that our county leaders are here to show their condolence to the grandparents of the victimized child. The child lost his mother in childhood and was raised by his grandparents. The leaders came to express their condolences and check on the family. In the video, a bunch of people in black stood at the door, but when the filmmaker approached, they all turned their heads away from the camera. The filmmaker hadn't seen the child yet, and it was said they were still waiting for DNA identification. It's been a while now since the accident happened on January 19th at 11 p.m. We haven't even seen the child. Whether he is alive or dead has to be determined by DNA identification. So think about it. How bad is this fire? The media, especially the official media in Henan province, has been silent on such a major disaster. After checking the Weibo accounts of Henan radio and television station and local newspaper on January 19th and 20th, there has been no report on the fire accident. What made netizens upset was that on the morning of January 20th, traffic police from another jurisdiction posted on its official Weibo page an inappropriate message. It said, "Good morning, have a good weekend. I hope the good mood is with me as usual as I get up and all annoyance is permanently folded." It ended with the hashtag Xinyang Henan Province, a school fire has led to the death of 13 people, with a good mood emoji. It impressed people as an attempt to get traffic using the story. On the other hand, it feels like a way to try to downplay the event as well. The posting infuriated a large number of netizens. They flooded the comment section. This city's traffic police then started to restrict the comments. Not only did this official Weibo page on behalf of the government make such statements, but on the morning of January 20th, the Weibo page of a county court far away in Xinjiang in northwest China also made a post that had little to do with the fire incident, but ended with the hashtag, "A fire at a school in Xinyang, Henan Province has killed 13 people." On January 21st, the city where the fire occurred held a citywide safety conference on the fire accident via phone and video. The entire conference was about cliché statements such as the meeting announced something, the meeting emphasized something, and the meeting pointed out something. 13 fresh lives vanished in exchange for a piece of ice-cold official talk. A professor of criminal law at Tsinghua University wrote on January 22nd that it's sad that we can't even report on social events. He said, "Not a single media outlet in Henan reported on the fire. A newspaper from another province interviewed a graduate of the school to find out more about the situation. Maybe this is an episode that is worthy of being included in the history of journalism. But it's already much more honorable than many other media outlets because it's still breathing." Audiences who often watch our channel may not find this strange. In Red China, the media is the mouthpiece of the party. What is its main mission? There are probably two things. One is to put gold in the face of the CCP, and the other is to cover up the CCP's ugliness. The fire in Henan was so ugly, how could the local media not cover it up? There are other fires whose images are only briefly available on Chinese social media thanks to the fact that almost all Chinese people have a cell phone, and many of them have developed the habit of taking videos on the go. So despite strict online censorship, some footage has managed to make it overseas. Here's a clip of a sudden explosion at about 1948 on January 20th at an old grain depot in Shandong province. The explosion started a huge fire, and the scene was frightening. From the video circulated online, we can see that the fire was so intense that people were heard screaming, "It's blown up! It's blown up!" Even from a distance, one could see the flames. Is it on fire?
Fire? Where is it from?
The shock wave from the explosion shattered the window panes of the neighboring villagers' homes and damaged their doors. This door is broken. This door is broken too. Do you see that? The glass is broken over here. The glass is all shattered. I'll go upstairs and check. A netizen said he heard an explosion and thought it was an airplane. The nearby middle school building shook. Students in the homeroom screamed. At 23:44 that night, CCTV News briefly reported the story using only 4 lines of text, saying that the explosion happened at an abandoned old grain silo, caused mainly by garbage and miscellaneous debris, and the fire was extinguished at 20:30 that night, and the casualties were still being verified. On January 22, 2024, a landslide occurred in Yunnan province at 5:51 a.m. that buried rural households. Staff from the local emergency management office responded to reporters, saying that it was difficult to rescue as water and food were cut off, and snow had closed the mountains, making roads icy. For such a large-scale accident, China's official media have adopted the tactic of emphasizing how hard the officials tried to rescue the victims. According to the official media, after the accident, more than 200 people were relocated in an emergency. 10 loaders and 33 fire engines were mobilized, and more than 200 rescuers were assembled to carry out search and rescue work with all their might. China's central media CCTV said that the preliminary verification showed 18 households and 44 people were buried. Xinhua Net, another official media outlet, then updated it that 18 households and 47 people were buried. At 5 p.m. on January 22nd, the reporter learned from the on-site command as of press time, 8 missing people were rescued with no signs of life. A local villager told the Chinese media that at around 4 a.m. on January 22nd, he and his family were suddenly awakened by a loud noise while sleeping. At first, he thought it was an airplane passing by, but later realized that the sound had been continuous. He and his family hurriedly put on their clothes and fled the house to escape. The noise continued for tens of minutes. Regarding the cause of the landslide that concerns outsiders, this is what the local villagers said. That landslide is pretty bad right now. People were mining coal here, and there was a coal mine down the mountain, so they probably dug up the coal and hollowed it out. The mountain was cracked before, and the villagers tried to stop them from mining coal, but they are non-stoppable. As we can see from the video, the mountain is cracked in the middle, as if being split apart, and the coal mine is right next to it. Nearby is the village. The villagers said the coal mining had hollowed out the area. As early as June 2023, media reported sudden popping sounds and violent shaking of houses in a local mountain village. It made the local villagers live in fear, so they notified their higher-ups. Villagers told the media that after the cracks appeared, they went to negotiate with the mine. The mountain is cracked, stop mining, but it was useless. According to a briefing by the Investigative Working Group on June 14, 2023, the working group helped guide the county to carry out investigations into the cause of the unusual vibrations, implement monitoring and early warning, and exercise risk avoidance and prevention. It has organized party members, cadres, and the public to work together to implement protective measures, strengthen patrols and manning duties, and to resolutely ensure the safety of the people's lives and property. However, evidently, the problem didn't actually get solved in the 6 months from June 2023 to the present, despite such a string of high-profile actions. It's reminiscent of the villagers' previous statement that they were unable to stop the mine from mining coal. The first press conference on the landslides scheduled for 2200 that night was postponed again and again. It didn't start until 1 a.m. the next morning in the end. It was announced that as of 2200 on January 22nd, 11 missing people were located but with no vital signs. The rest of the missing people were being searched for at full steam. On January 25th, officials announced that as of 8:04 p.m. on the evening of January 25th, 44 buried people were found dead. Is the landslide related to the local coal mining? The analysis of the official expert group didn't mention the relationship between the two, nor did it answer the villagers' questions. The CCP experts only confirmed or described the phenomena. The landslide occurred at the top of the steep slope, and the impact of the avalanche scraped the surface soil in the middle and lower steep slopes, creating a flow of avalanches and debris that impacted the foot of the slope, and then led to the collapse of the houses.
这边来过夜啊。